Damn, son, where'd you find this?
Ladies, understand something. The top end of a woman's weight is 145 pounds. Okay. My mother's 5'9", and she was 145 pounds until she was 50. That's the top end of your weight, because there should be about a 40-pound difference between you and men.
Basically, if the guy is rich, what ends up happening is the lawyer contacts the person and be like, hey, you know, your name gonna be all in the paper, so you might as well just settle out of court.
I can recognize talent. Even if I don't agree with the politics, a lot of the politics that was underlying in the show and some of the sentiments he was trying to share, I recognize artistry when an artist is present.
Yes, this is the definition of absolutely cooked. We'll never go back and take a look at her bad decision and take accountability for any of that.
Because there is powerful people in the industry, somehow there is a different law that applies to them. And I agree with that assessment.
What up, peoples? Peace and blessings, man. Happy hump day. We back. We live. It's good to be here. Shout out to you. Shout out to everybody, man, who's been tapping in over the last few months. You know what I'm saying? It's been a journey. We've had a lot of conversations up here, lots of deep layer peeling, unmasking conversations, like getting to the core root of issues that happen with us on a regular basis. Some things that people just never talk about for whatever reason. Politics. It has a real hold on a lot of us, so we can never really truly be ourselves 100% up on these platforms, and it's a shame, really. As an adult, I myself, I want to learn, I want to grow, I want to be in a space with others where we can chop it up about the things that's going on around us, and having these walls and barriers to kind of keep us from really getting down to the core root, it's just not right. You know what I'm saying? So fortunately enough, by the grace of God himself, I can do this. I don't have no filters. I don't have to worry about someone reporting me or being petty and childish because they got money and they can use their power to shut me up. And I'm good on that. I'm glad I'm solo with this. Shout out to my poets, my writers, my content creators, everybody, man. Blessings to you all. Keep doing your thing. The open mic will be here Friday. The hell or high water, we will be back. If you want to join, if you're a poet or you know a poet, singers, artists in general, you want to tap in with us, everything is at the bottom. Email, hit me up via private message on Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. Y'all know the energy. this ain't y'all first time. Y'all been on here just as long as me, if not longer. You know what I'm saying? But I do got a video that I want to play. And I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know about this until today. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. So this is a live reaction. My honest opinions on it, because I wasn't really expecting it. And I don't think anyone expected it. So torn between, all right, is this real? Is there things missing from this? Has to be. Has to be. I have part one. Other portions to it that I don't play up here for reasons I'm trying to get in trouble with of YouTube. You know how they are. They're extremely petty. Any little thing that they see that remotely goes against their little laws and stuff like that, they'll try to mark you. And I'm good on all that. So I got that video. We're going to talk about it, what Stephen A. Smith had to say. I did a reaction recently, about an hour or two ago. If on YouTube, check that one out, on the situation with your boy. But I got Sydney in the building. Sydney, if you know who she already know what time it is, we got a double portion for y'all. She's going to kick this one off. And then we're going to move on into the next one. So I'm going to bring her up. I'm going to let her introduce us. I'm going to let her do her thing, cook. And we're going to transition from there to the next part of it. If you have any feedback, any questions, any comments, leave them in the comment section. One more thing, make sure you like, share, and repost. Let the people know that we are live. And if you're not following, make sure you are following. Sydney, if you are ready, I'm bringing you up.
I muted myself. How are you? I hope there's not a lag.
I'm good. I'm good. It's Wednesday. That means tomorrow is Thursday, which means Thursday hopefully isn't as busy as Wednesday, because Wednesdays are typically our busiest work weeks.
Interesting. Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend again. It's always nice to not have to wake up at 5:30 in the morning. But yeah, otherwise,
I bet it is.
Otherwise, it was a nice day. We went to the park and got to go outside, so that was kind of fun. It's been cloudy the past couple of days, but today it was sunny and actually kind of hot. So summer's definitely coming.
Oh yes, it was nice. It's still nice outside right now. In fact, I think it's supposed to be this way all week. So maybe this weekend I'll try to enjoy it a little bit. I might even do a little surprise stream or something over the weekend. I don't know yet. We'll see. But
Awesome.
For now, we are here, and I want to hear some things about these tornadoes, because yeah.
I thought it was
I'm a fan of them. I did.
Go ahead. Sorry, there's a tiny bit of a lag, so you go first.
You good? Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just gonna say that it's the best time of year for this, because right now we're in tornado season. Tornado season, it can persist through the winter, but the traditional, I keep wanting to say earthquake, the traditional tornado season is between March and May. That's typically when you get the strongest, trending towards April being the most severe month in terms of strength and number of tornadoes. And we've had a particularly active season this year. This year, in my opinion, is very similar to 1974, as well as 1999, when we had pretty severe tornado outbreaks across the country. We have had a number of tornado outbreaks throughout the year, but this in April alone, in early April, between April 2nd to the 7th, there were over 150 tornadoes. There were 870 reports of large hail and thunderstorm level winds. And this took place from Texas all the way up to Wisconsin, I think that is, and Ohio, and then from Missouri all the way down to Alabama. So it was an extremely wide swath of the United States, very typical for our tornado alley. Tornado Alley used to be more of like Nebraska, Kansas, Oklahoma, Texas. Oklahoma still gets a lot. Texas still gets a lot. But it has shifted more towards the south. And so now we definitely see a ton in Mississippi, Tennessee, Virginia, some in Illinois. So we've been seeing a lot lately. Quite a number of substantial tornadoes. There's been EF3s. I believe there's been an EF4 and an EF5 this year already. Let's see. As of, let's see, this was posted 3 hours ago. Perfect. Starting from this year to April 22nd, there have been 603 reports of tornadoes so far this year, which is higher than at all years in the past 15 years, with exception to 2011, which is another year that we had a tornado outbreak. 2011 has, I think, the highest record of any year, and with a total of 758 tornadoes. So we are still only halfway, a little over halfway through traditional tornado season. With with hurricane season, you can also get tornadoes, so we also have to factor that in. We're only in April, and there have been 603 reports. We are only where did that go? Where did that number go? Oh, there it is. Let's see, 155 tornadoes away from breaking the record. So I would not be surprised if this is another record-breaking year. We are expecting pretty extremely warm temperatures. This year is again on pace to be the warmest on record, and warm air helps create more tornadoes. Tornadoes are basically created when you have some air dropping. When you have cold air masses, they'll move across the plains. They'll get uplifted by the mountains down like Idaho, Colorado, Arizona. they get uplifted, and so then they come over the plains and they start to cool. And so as they cool, they drop, and so they'll drop about the area of Tornado Alley. And as it drops, it kind of stirs up the atmosphere. And then you also have hot air that's rising from the earth. As the sun bakes the earth, it gives off heat. And this heat basically goes up into the air. And so when you have the mixing of cold air and warm air, it causes circulations. And if you have this circulation and then you have secondary horizontal winds, you could have the potential of pushing the rotation, and so it basically shifts the funnel upright. There's a lot more factors at play within the thunderstorm that causes it, but in general, the collision of warm and cold air. Oh, and it has to be warm, moist air and cold, dry air, because those contrasting features help produce the tumultuousness that produces the thunderstorms. It's kind of the same idea as dropping cold water onto a hot skillet. Like, you have the clouds form, you have the vapor kind of like whoosh, going up into the clouds and stuff. So that's kind of what's producing the tornadoes, is mixing of warm tropical air from the Gulf of Mexico, and then dry, cold air coming from Canada. And then those mixing together creates the thunderstorms, which then come into our communities. Tornadoes are rated on a scale of 1 to 5. 1 being, or 0 to 5, I should say. 0 is something akin to like a dust devil in strength, where you can stand next to it, you can stand inside it, and it doesn't really do much. I mean, obviously you don't want to stand in any tornado, because it's not just wind, it's also flinging everything it picks up. So bark from a tree, sticks, tin can, like at a low rating, I should say. Once you get up into F1 to F2, that's when it starts to become strong enough to do damage to properties. With a 1 and a 2, you're going to see shingles flying off the house. You could see loose boards being ripped off, like siding, or poorly made houses might sustain some damage to their roof and walls. You might have some windows breaking from things being thrown at the house, the side of the house. Also, the air pressure itself of the tornado does damage. So as you get up into the like 1, 2s, 3s higher, the air pressure itself will also like blow down doors and through windows and stuff like that. It can pop the windows out of their frames, especially the new style windows that are like resistant to shattering and aren't like glass. They're a mixture. I don't know what they're made out of, but you can have those either break, pop out, or whatnot. Additionally, with these types of thunderstorms, you're also going to probably get hail and lightning. So there's some additional dangers of these storms besides the tornadoes. But as you get up into category 3, category 4, that's when you're starting to get into the dangerous territory. Obviously, 1s and 2s are still dangerous. As I said, the projectiles and Let's see. Geoscale. With an F1, that's 73 to 112 miles an hour, which is hurricane force. F2 is 113 miles an hour to 157 miles an hour. And I believe that encompasses the winds of the strongest hurricane that's ever existed. We had a hurricane, I think it was like 2016 or 2017. It hit, let's see. It was, I think Milton or Laura, Hurricane Laura. It reached winds of 150 miles an hour, which is almost, it's rare for that speed. So tornadoes at their F2 category are at hurricane strength already. F3s, you're getting to 150 to 200 miles an hour, which will cause very severe damage. Most houses are not meant to withstand winds of that speed. Then F4s and F5s will cause extreme levels of damage. F4s will rip walls off your house. It'll rip the roof off. It will decimate the outside walls of your house. It might preserve the inner rooms of the house. Like, you might get lucky. But chances are even like brick buildings can be damaged by these this speed of wind. And then at F5, that is enough to wipe the house off the foundation. F5 damage is usually determined by there being no buildings left. Trees will have had all the bark removed from them. All the leaves are gone. All the small twigs are gone. It's just a skeleton of the tree. It will rip plumbing out of the ground. It can even disrupt it can also disrupt the foundation. There was one house that it literally just like picked up the house and then rotated it and then put it back down. I have seen pictures of pencils driven straight through a tree. I've seen 2x4s driven straight through a house. I've also seen some crazy pictures of literally the entire house was like sheared in half. So you're looking in at their kitchen with just nothing in front of it. But then they have a cup sitting on the counter as if like all of their stuff in the kitchen was just left completely untouched. But the rest of their house was just gone, destroyed. And tornado winds are quite interesting because every tornado is different, and you can have really strange phenomena occur during tornadoes where their winds are so unpredictable that you can, as I said, like you can drive a pencil to a tree, but there have been people that have been thrown 2 miles but landed unscathed. They were perfectly fine. They've had cows show up in somebody's yard, like miles away from where they came from. They've also there was a baby that was taken from her mom's arms and she was found like miles away, perfectly fine. There's some really incredible stories. As I said, like there have been houses that were left completely untouched when the whole neighborhood was destroyed. Part of the thing that affects the strength of the tornadoes the damage that the tornado causes is which direction the winds are going when it hits your house. Because if you get hit by the flank of a tornado, why do you want the glove? if you get hit by one of the flanks of the tornado, you're more likely to have severe damage because you're basically kind of getting buzzsawed. Oh my God. You're kind of getting buzzsawed by a tornado. Whereas sometimes she's trying to put a glove on her foot and it's not working. And so she's upset. Gotta love toddlers. Nick, can you take? She's trying to put a glove on her foot.
Wait, I didn't know tornadoes were like that bad, man. I've never experienced them personally, not here. I don't think that we get them in the city, but I know that they get them, or there's been reports of them in Virginia. But outside of that, only the movies. I've only seen like real damage in movies and some documentaries, like one that I watched on Netflix recently. It was about an hour plus. It was pretty good, and it was based on true events. It wasn't 2012 or nothing like that. So
was it 13 minutes?
Has our love it I think it might be. I don't remember the name of it though.
That was about one of the outbreaks. I think it was in 1999. I think it was Oklahoma. But basically an F5 went through like 5 different towns in a row, and it just wiped. It was an F5, so it basically wiped out all of these towns off the face of the earth and left very, very little behind. And a lot of these communities are quite isolated. So oftentimes they don't have the opportunity to get help. But on the flip side, when they hit the big cities, like Oklahoma City, I think has gotten hit by 2 major tornadoes. Oklahoma has been hit by 2 major tornadoes. When that happens, it's equally devastating. Even though they have the resources, it's incredible damage. The F5, I didn't say, but the highest speeds that it can get to is 300 miles an hour. The highest recorded winds were 318 miles per hour. And the crazy thing is, tornadoes have the highest ever wind speed was from a tornado. Tornadoes are the things that contain the highest wind speeds of anywhere on Earth.
What's the difference between those and hurricanes?
Tornadoes are highly local. They're attached to a storm as it's going across the land, but they aren't their own storm. They're just projections from the storm as it's churning and creating wind, and if you have the right type of wind, it will basically create a suction, and that's what you're seeing. It's kind of the same mechanisms as when you drain a bathtub, how you have the force coming in downwards, but then you also have the force pulling down from the bottom. And so it creates that kind of whirlwind. And that's what you're seeing, but it's from the clouds, where you have a downdraft that's pulling this air down, but then you also have the as you push down on air, especially rapidly, it like pushes it down, and the air underneath will like get kind of pushed out this way. It's almost as if you like stuck your hand into a peanut butter jar. Some of it will get squished up the sides and like come out. That's basically how the tornado is forming. Is the air is rapidly rising on 2 sides, but it's dropping in the center, and so then it creates that vortice. Whereas hurricanes, they are the storms. They are storms that form off in the ocean, and they're caused by similar mechanisms, where it's rising air and in that sense. But hurricanes are a bit different, where they're fed by the oceans. They are formed by thunderstorms that are above the ocean, as I said, and as they basically feed from the ocean, you have to have warm enough temperatures. I believe it's 86 degrees is what is required for hurricane development. So if you're like, just to give you an idea, the water temperature off the coast of Florida ranges between like 85 and 95 degrees. I've even seen over that really, really hot summer, I think it was either 23 or 24, the temperatures reached 100 degrees, 100-degree water. It's crazy. But as the water vapor goes up into the sky, it feeds those thunderstorms and makes them bigger and bigger and bigger. And as they get bigger, you get higher and higher intensities. That's when you get the Cat 1 is just pretty minor. I think the wind speed starts at like 50 or something like that. And then the next, let's see, 74 to 95 miles an hour, and then 96 to 110, 111 to 129, 130 to 156, and then 157 or higher. The reason why hurricanes are so damaging in comparison to tornadoes are obviously severe because of the speed, the wind speed. Tornadoes are even though they have lower wind speeds, they're dangerous because they're constant. You're having this storm for days. It can take like 24 hours to 48 hours, sometimes even longer, for really big storms like hurricanes to pass over the land. Luckily, as soon as they do pass over land, they dramatically reduce in severity. But the amount of water that they drop through torrential rains, the tornadoes that they could possibly cause, and the wind speeds that are coming from the storm itself can cause damage. As I said, with the tornadoes, the first level, you're going to see shingles being ripped off, roof being damaged, large trees will start seeing damage. Small trees might fall over. With hurricane level 2, you're going to see pretty extensive damage, roof and siding damage. Trees will probably snap. You'll probably have power outages that'll last for days or weeks. With a 3, that's a major hurricane. So then you're going to see pretty severe damage, even with well-built homes. Most trees will be uprooted, blocking roads. And then you'll probably not have access to electricity or water for several days or weeks. Those are also why they're so dangerous, where tornadoes will come and go in a matter of minutes. Hurricanes will leave damage to entire swaths of cities and communities, and sometimes the entire state for weeks, because you have like 10 feet of water and trees uprooted and no electricity, and your houses are ripped apart and stuff. So in an effect, hurricanes are technically more damaging than tornadoes, even though tornadoes do more damage to the areas that they're doing damage to. With category 5s, obviously that is extremely severe. You're going to see most neighborhoods in contact with the storm completely damaged. You're going to see roofs collapsed. You're going to see trees and power poles and everything tall fallen over, damaged. And you can have, like Hurricane Katrina, a lot of those areas are still uninhabitable. Hurricane damage from an F5 can be extremely catastrophic. You can collapse dams, as we saw. You can overflow sewage facilities and spill contaminants into cities and homes, which happened with Katrina and numerous other hurricanes. You can As we saw in Japan, it can affect a nuclear facility. Hurricanes are definitely not something to toy around with. We have seen the mistakes that people have made where they doubt the storm is going to be as bad as it is, and it intensifies quickly and they get stuck. That's one of the worst things. Like, getting stuck on the freeway while a hurricane is coming is one of the worst places that you can be, especially because a lot of the times the highways do run by the water. So if there is a hurricane coming to your area, you want to make sure that if it's like an F1 or 2, you should have food and supplies to last you a couple days to a week by yourself. You should have flashlights and things that don't need don't need electricity to run. You should have alternative sources of, I don't remember if I said this, but alternative sources of power, like a backup generator and stuff like that. Alternate methods to cook your food, like a camping stove, and like sandbags, duct tape, stuff that you need to ward off a flood from inside your house. With tornadoes, you want something similar, but you don't really need to stock up on supplies for tornadoes, because there's the risk that the house is just going to be destroyed and there's going to be no supplies left for you. And typically their response is better with tornadoes, because it's not as widespread. Hurricane recovery there's a lot of gaps in it. A lot of people fall through those gaps and aren't taken care of very well afterwards. Like, people in Hurricane Katrina are still struggling to this day. But tornadoes, the biggest things is if you hear winds that sound like a train, that sound like they're howling, or some people have even described it as screaming. A train is very apt. It does really sound like a train. If you hear those sounds that are suspicious and you live in those areas, or even out of those areas, every single state except for, I think, Alaska has gotten, or no, Hawaii. No, I'll have to double check. There's only one state that has never gotten a tornado, but pretty much every state, even California, has gotten tornadoes. It is imperative that you have something sturdy in your home that you can hide in, whether it's a retrofitted closet or a safe room, a basement, somewhere that you can hide. If you don't have that, or you don't have the ability to have that, go to a centrally located room that doesn't have windows. Bathrooms are good. You can hide the children under the toilet and under the sink. And I honestly would even tie yourself to the plumbing, because typically when I see damaged homes, the toilets and the sinks are usually the only things left, with exception to F5s. Usually that just rips out everything. But I have seen F5s that leave like just a pipe in the middle of the house. But you want to be in as center of the house as possible, because it's going to be the outer walls that are damaged first. You also want to make sure you have goggles, gloves for both circumstances. You want gloves, goggles, and a helmet to protect yourself from debris as the tornado is happening. You could also get like a jacket or something to put on yourself to keep debris from hitting you, because oftentimes when people go through both hurricanes and tornadoes, when the winds do that much damage, the most common injuries, broken bones and cuts from the flying debris, and also like head injuries, getting hit with things. So if you can, in the location where you're planning to hide, have those things, have helmets, have gloves, have jackets, have things to cover yourself with for when that tornado comes. So yeah, do be wary. Like if you know that there's going to be storms coming into your area, have a radio for both hurricanes and tornadoes. Have a radio so you can track what's happening and you can be aware before the thing actually comes into your town, because you definitely don't want to be caught by surprise by a tornado.
For anyone who lives in any area like that, please take heed and be very mindful and very proactive. Don't wait till the last second to be prepared. You do not want to be on the other end of that. I've never experienced it personally, but I know that it's better to have it than to not have it and wish you had it.
I want to mention one more thing too. There is one other type of tornado in wildfire situations. I'm sure we probably are aware of it since it recently happened in California. But you can get what are called fire tornadoes. They're slightly different than actual tornadoes because they don't actually come from a cloud. They're coming upwards with the fire. It can be exacerbated by a storm and turned into an actual tornado with the fire in it. But with fire tornadoes, if you see a fire tornado, do not try and ride that out. That you want to get as far away from as possible, because there is no way that you're going to be able to survive a fire tornado. It basically can move at the same speed as no, I did not want a video. Let's see what is the temperature. It goes about the same speed as tornadoes, so you're going to be seeing like 100 mile an hour, 200 mile an hour winds. I remember I saw this once. Yeah, the inside of a fire tornado can reach 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. So, yeah. Fire tornadoes are very different. So if you ever see a fire tornado, that is one that you don't want to stay and watch. Definitely stay as far away from those as possible. I just thought I'd mention them because some people do think that they're the same thing. They're just like a tornado that moved over fire, but fire tornadoes are actually created from the fire itself.
Shit, that's a new one to me. I haven't heard of that one before, but I appreciate you sharing that one. I want to jump into this other topic though, because like I said earlier, it's the first time I heard of it, and I don't know how accurate it is or not, but I figured why not. The video is like 3 minutes. I tried to chop it up a little bit so YouTube wouldn't come for me. Basically, what's happening from what I'm understanding, apparently Floyd Mayweather, he may be going bankrupt. He might not have the money that people think he has. And yeah, like I said, I had no idea that somebody in his position could be under this type of pressure at all. So I'm gonna play this video and we'll take it from there. But I'm gonna say it like this: nobody's exempt. Nobody is exempt. So I'm gonna play it right now, and we'll go from there. Hold on a second. All right.
I'm not gonna lie, I could not stop laughing at the voice. You're muted.
Oh shit! Hold up. Yeah, my bad. I sped it up too quick. I'm gonna let me fix that real quick. My apologies, folks. Floyd Mayweather apparently is going broke, and there's some scamming accusations going on. And I had a video that I was trying to play. I didn't want YouTube to come for me, so I altered the speed of it. But what happened was I sped it up too quick, and I meant to slow it down. And so that's what you ended up getting there. So I'm gonna actually re-upload that clip, alter the speed, and yeah, let me make sure I got this right. Was there anything that you wanted to add as far as, well, let me ask you this. If you are a millionaire, how is it that you can possibly find your way into financial destitution? You got everything that you could ever ask for. You are an icon. You are a legend. You put in the work to build this legacy, and all of it is just like out of the blue, thrown away over what? He's not the, and it's like I never expected it from him, but you see it with a lot of people. They get carried away with their spending, or they're irresponsible with what they invest in. They're not financially knowledgeable of what they are getting into. They got people around them who don't really guide them the right way. They might be using them. How does this consistently happen on a regular basis? I could never understand that at all.
Three things, or let me think, four things. One, credit cards. Getting too many credit cards, too many purchases. They, especially with, like, if you're highly wealthy, you're going to get credit cards that get you miles for travel, and ones that get you food, and ones that get blah, blah, like all sorts of different, like, free stuff. And so you're incentivized to use these cards. And so they're buying everything on credit cards, or they might be buying things on credit cards. Another thing is buying expensive toys, boats, cars, planes, God knows what. And then also houses and other, like, most of these celebrities have like 5 homes and a beach house and a clubhouse, and like they just have all of this real estate, and so that's going to cost money. They're also probably going to be quote unquote living large, and when they buy jewelry, they're not just buying costume jewelry, they're buying the $15,000 diamond studded like ring with 14 karat gold. Like, they're buying the top of the line. Whatever they want, they're going to get it. If they see their friend has it, they're going to buy it. And same goes with their food, with their vacations, with their hotels, with their shoes and everything, their furniture, everything has to be top of the line. So there's more money going away. And then they probably, because they have so much money, are using it to put into stock markets, put into betting, putting into the more risky type, like guesswork type ways to make money, or investments. I'm going to invest in this business, or I'm going to invest in this marketing thing, or whatever it is. Some of them are risky. Some of them aren't going to pay out. And so you're going to drop all your money into this thing that doesn't pan out. And especially if you're like with athletes and artists and movie stars and all of the people that have work based on like projects of other people, you are more likely, like, you're going to have an inconsistent income. It's not like you go to a 9 to 5 and you know exactly what your paycheck's going to be when you go to work and when you get to go home. And like, a lot of these people don't have they can't say for sure, I'll be in next season, or I'll be able to sell this piece of art that I spent 14 days on. So they are going to eventually get into a situation where they spend more money expecting that they're going to be getting money, and then they don't get that money. And so then they're in a hole because people do it all the time, where they're like, oh, I'm going to put this $13,000 into a credit card, and then come tax season, they're like, oh, I didn't realize I also owed the government $26,000, and so now that money that I needed to pay, now I'm just in the negative, and I now owe the government. And so people get into these situations all the time, whether you're rich or whether you're living close to the poverty line. So if he is not vigilant, if he is not managing his money, if he's investing in things that aren't paying out, or if he's spending recklessly, I could very easily see him being bankrupt. I also know that, not saying this is what's happening, I also know that people will take advantage of bankruptcy so they can get out of, I think it's paying taxes or something like that. I think there's some sort of benefit to declaring bankruptcy. And I know people have been known to use that. So I also could see that as a possibility.
I did a story on Sean Kingston a few weeks ago. Him and his mother got in trouble for scamming, and I can't remember exactly how they went about it. If I'm not mistaken, they were working with a specific company, and they were doing a lot of like wholesale type of stuff, but they were doing it underhanded. I can't remember. I have to really go back to it, but I'm surprised nobody really spoke about that. Sean Kingston, used to be one of them guys that you thought was going to be a breakout singer, and he has a lot of hits, but he didn't really transcend as much as I thought he would in the R&B field. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, there's some more stuff that came out. I might have to look it up. I saw it. He's supposed, if I'm not mistaken, he's either on house arrest or he's still in jail, but he does have a trial coming up. But how did you even get to the point to where you're scamming people? I mean, you have a voice, you have a gift.
Two things. One,
I would have
desperation, and two, I just have to throw it out there. Most celebrities are already scamming us. All these celebrities with their brand name makeup and clothes and whatever, they are scamming us. They're using their name to get way more for these products than they're worth. Like Gwyneth Paltrow was selling a $150 white sweatshirt that said like peace or something on it, like something really arbitrary and random. Like people are predatory. Like people who have power and the means to do so will take advantage of other people, and we're seeing that everywhere now, where everyone's just trying to take advantage of everyone. Like we're gonna get to the point where we're just gonna meet people on the street like, hey, my name's Sydney, have you seen my brand? And then the other person's gonna be like, oh, hey, my name's blah blah blah, have you seen my brand? Have you gone to my website? Like we're just gonna be introducing each other by our storefront. But yeah, I think a lot of celebrities are kind of scamming us, using their own name to just get more for really crappy products that don't even work and aren't worth it.
Yeah, in reality, that's all it is, for real, for real. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Like my first and last name should have just as much value to it, but because by societal standards, I don't have the same support behind me, so it doesn't really sell a t-shirt. It doesn't sell out concerts and fill up stadium seats. I could never understand it just off the strength of me always putting myself in the position of the one who actually has the money. I wouldn't be frivolous. I wouldn't be recklessly buying things. I don't need 20 vehicles. I don't need 30 houses in different countries. I don't need all, like, come on, man. I need a business that makes money when I am not in the office, that is still keeping product in rotation. That's what I require. I don't require I don't know. It's like, to me, if I'm going to build generational wealth, I want to employ other people. So while my money is making me money, I can help other people make money in the process. And it's to the point where I don't have to really work hard anymore. Gambling and like doing side missions and going splurging is not my forte. I don't really have a real taste for it. I do got the video though, so I did fix it. No Alvin and the Chipmunks this time. I'm gonna play it all the way through. We're going to get this one out the way. And yeah, I will go ahead and do that right now. Shout out to everybody in the building. Lucas, appreciate you, sir. Let me go ahead and play this right now.
Here with sadness today to report to you that I'm incredibly disappointed in one of my all-time favorite fighters, my brother, Floyd Money Mayweather. Ladies and gentlemen, chaos broke out. And I'm not talking about legit, bona fide boxing, pure boxing chaos. I'm talking about the kind of stuff that's just embarrassing. Look at this here, please. This is a beautiful house, my man. How many square feet is this? A little bit over 20,000 square feet. 3 or 4 level? Money Mayweather, seems appropriate that you would be living in Vegas. My mentality is always about, working smarter, not harder.
Floyd Money Mayweather was once the epitome of boxing success and financial prowess, but recent revelations suggest a different story. Stephen A. Smith questions the stability of Mayweather's empire. Could the undefeated champ be facing his toughest opponent yet? Financial ruin. Let's break down the $402 million scandal that's shaking the boxing world.
The $1 million garage. I know we're on television, Floyd, but I think it's necessary for me to say, damn. Well, we on ESPN, this car costs $3.2 million. This Bugatti right here costs $1.6 million. It's close to $15 million. You're right, it's close to $15 million. And you don't drive them. No.
Floyd Mayweather has spent years branding himself as the highest paid athlete on the planet, boasting about $100 million paydays every time his name hits the headline.
Yes, she did. Who got the highest gate? Floyd Mayweather. Who made the most money? You did. Who was the most accurate fighter of all time? You were. So it's basically saying that... The greatest of all time. Okay.
But now, one voice from the fight world is tearing that entire narrative apart. Former UFC title contender and analyst Chael Sonnen is calling it one of the greatest illusions in sports marketing, suggesting that Mayweather's so-called 9-figure fight checks might have been nothing more than smoke and mirrors.
Coined this phrase, fake news. Yeah. Why is he saying that? What does that even mean? You can trust the news. There's no such thing. People were dressed up as empty seats, and I mean thousands of people. No. I bought my mother's ticket that day. That day, my mother decides that she wants to go to the fight. So I'm in there, and I'm telling the world that this place is sold out because that's what's on the screen. It's not even close. This isn't like, it's pretty much, this isn't, there's thousands of empty seats. That was the first time that in my own life I ever just, wow, fake news is real. Wow. And then Mayweather, remember, they wanted a rematch. They were begging. They were doing more media trying to get a rematch than they did leading into the first match. And the guys that wrote the checks.
So while Mayweather flashed watches, jets, and bank slips, the hard financial proof, according to Sonnen, never actually surfaced. No broadcast partner, no third-party verification, just headlines.
Whoever puts that press release and sends it out, never has a company that's publicly traded had an executive back those numbers. They're all lies.
And this raises a brutal question. Was Mayweather's empire built on actual checks? Or just hype, ego, and PR magic? Sonnen isn't alone either. With financial lawsuits, unpaid jewelry bills, and the crypto scam lawsuit haunting his name, the money brand seems to be leaking from all sides. Floyd Mayweather has always been the face of untouchable wealth in boxing. The man who turned luxury into a lifestyle, turning his nickname Money into an entire identity. But behind the private jets and million-dollar shopping sprees, the cracks in that image are beginning to show, and they're showing faster than anyone expected.
How much of that did you actually get to hear and see? Because on my end, it was very choppy. Hopefully you got to see it.
Yeah, it went fine on my end. I'm pretty sure I saw all of it. It got slightly cut at the end, but I'm pretty sure I saw all of it.
All right, yeah.
I definitely got the
I might have
gist.
to upgrade this laptop at some point. I know.
I was right. I saw all those cars in that house.
Any thoughts? Any initial? Your man sitting up here flaunting. He been doing this for most of his career, boasting about how much he spent at the club, how much he spent on private airplanes and You know, he's very, very boisterous and very flamboyant. And I mean, the things that I never got about certain people with money, your lack of humbleness. Who would have ever expected him to be under this type of scrutiny or being questioned for scamming or being involved with doing horrible business? This is why I couldn't work with a lot of people, especially because like their lifestyle, and believe you said this, yes, it's cutthroat on each other. You got to do things and go to certain places where your character comes into question, where you end up like doing things that have people looking at you differently. Don't put that type of money in my pocket, because I'm not going to conform to the ways that side of the world works. I'm going to stab some people in the back. I'm not going to be breaking or burning bridges with people to create more something else. I'm not compromising my morals. I'm not selling my cheeks. I'm not about to sit up here and invest in businesses with folks that I don't see no credentials for. I'm not about to sit up here and spend all of my money on that I don't need. You're not about to get me investing in you, and I'm not. No, I will be the most hated, most unpopular, whatever you want to call it there is, because I'm gonna live like I'm still broke. I don't know what's going to happen with this. I don't know how much of it is true. I don't know his involvement. I don't know the backstory. I don't know none of the history behind any of it. It's just brand new to me too. But it always just fascinated me how these men and women got millions and millions of dollars always end up in some scandals every time.
I found an interesting list that would bring that shines a light onto him. So this was a list that was made in 2018 of 20 reoccurring monthly expenses that Floyd Mayweather spends on. A lot of these are ones that I said. I was reading through this and I was like, see? So private jet maintenance, which is over $250,000 a year on fuel for each jet. He has a $200 million yacht monthly fuel maintenance, crew, and bubbly. I don't know what that is. Oh, I guess champagne. $200 million on his yacht. He spends $12,000 a week on his meals at this Japanese steakhouse that he goes to. His insurance bills for all of these cars and boats and everything. He has multi-million-dollar mansions, multiple multi-million-dollar mansions. He has a full-time barber, even though he's bald, for $12,000 a month. He always gets the best suites when he goes on trips and stays in hotels. He spends exorbitantly on sporting events. One ticket alone was $80,000. He also spends money on ringside seats for his friends and family. He spent over $600,000 just this year, just in that year.
he makes $1 million bets. He once made a $13 million bet, so he bets a lot of money. He pays $26 million in taxes. He gets designer wristwatches, a new one every single month. He has crystal dining sets and diamond encrusted cutlery. He gets mani and pedis regularly. He gets regular teeth whitening. He also has women that he pays for. He also has a team that every single day does stuff with his cars, like cleans his cars and maintenance, all that stuff. So that's costly. Expensive sneakers. He only wears expensive sneakers, and he wears them once and throws them away. Same with his underwear. He wears them once and then throws them away. And then he buys gifts for his family. This dude, oh my God. Meanwhile, I love Goodwill.
I know, right? You can't make this stuff up. They got a whole track record of what he spends on and how much. That's crazy, bro.
And there's probably more stuff that didn't even make the cut.
Yeah. It has to be some type of, oh well, I got it, so let me go ahead and just do whatever. It's almost like you leave the store open for a kid. I remember like Toys R Us, when Toys R Us was still a thing, and they had this contest. You against a couple other kids. I can't remember how it went, but you went into the store and then you were supposed to run through the store and grab as much as you could, and whoever came back first or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? You won all the stuff or something. That's how I look at celebrities and influencers. I got this abundant amount of opportunity in front of you. There's really not too many restrictions, and you just like you can do whatever you want with your bread. Nobody's clocking your pockets. I'm not even. How can I say it? If I wanted the type of money that he has, then it's not his responsibility. That's on me to put in the work to get to that place. I can't blame, even though I think a lot of y'all sold y'all soul, but that's neither here nor there. But a lot of y'all be doing stuff like this, and I be wondering, like, what the hell am I doing wrong? What part of the game is this? You tricking on women? $12,000 for dinner? Did I hear that right?
Yep, each week.
You got a gas.
Meanwhile, I'm like,
eating.
I try and stay under like $800 for food for 5 people. I'm like, meanwhile, he's spending like my entire. I wish I made that much. Like, I'm like, that's crazy. Per month.
I know, exactly. This man doesn't spend my entire life, like 40 years worth. Like if if you had to put a tax dollar to what it would take to take care of one human being for 40 years, he done spent it like 3-4 times already. That's crazy. Now they're talking about, oh, you're going broke. How do you go broke? What did you invest in? What was it, 204 million or something like that? I heard. What happened here? How did that go about? What was the conversation like? And the funny thing is, I don't see anyone really talking about it too much. That's why I wasn't even sure that it was accurate. You know how AI just kind of creates stories and things like that. I thought it was just AI generated. But clearly this is real, it's happening. And as far as I'm concerned, if it's true, was it bad business? Or were you being deceitful? Did you trust the wrong person to do right by you, or were you just screwing over the people? And so now this shit is coming back to you out of karma. All these men and women that y'all idolize and y'all put on a pedestal and think they're perfect. And then you come and find out that they've been stabbing you in the back. They've been taking your money and abusing it. And imagine you, all right. We've all indulged in, like, we've bought CDs, we've bought movie tickets. We've lined their pockets up, essentially. How would you feel if you found out that they're using your money as toilet paper? If I'm not, if I'm not mistaken, he's actually done that before. He's literally had rolls of toilet paper made out of money.
I mean,
imagine you funded somebody's life.
I'm not surprised. Like, I would not be surprised if I found out Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos also had money toilet paper.
You remember DuckTales? That's why I made the thumbnail the way I did, because it reminded me of Scrooge McDuck. Like in the rolling credits, when he would dive, he would go into the vault and he would just dive into the money and swim in the coins. It reminded me of that. I guess we're all different, you know. Apparently, and you can't really predict what a person's going to do if they ever had the.
Sorry. He makes $85 million a year. He also, where was this? He also bought a watch that was $53 million. Where did I see that? What the heck? Apparently, he chooses not to pay for things if he doesn't want to. I could also see why that would cause him to go bankrupt.
It is no. Good
grief.
Yo, there's no way in the world. What else do you need in life? What else could you possibly ask for? At that, you wouldn't, like I said, you wouldn't see me ever again. I'm going to be a ghost. And then I'll run my businesses via satellite, the computer. I would have trustees that I absolutely have a great communication with, managing everything. I would not be out here trying to be seen, or I don't need notoriety. I don't need recognition. I don't need really too much of anything. I don't know, bro. Whatever happens, I hope and pray that this is opening to people to be a little more receptive to the fact that everything isn't what you think it is. You can have all the money in the world, but if you ain't doing right with it, it's going to be a reflection of your business, of your relationships in the community, even though it doesn't really seem like it. And I'm gonna stay up on this story. I'm gonna keep following it because I want to know exactly what's happening here. What side of the fence people should really be on, because I don't want to say he's guilty and I don't want to say he's innocent either. I'm still neutral because I don't know all the facts yet, but it's still kind of dumb. That's the one thing most of these famous people got in common. They do stupid stuff. That's why Shannon Sharpe is in the position he's in right now. So, any last thought?
Well, I was just gonna. When I was 19, I think I went to this yoga retreat that was out in the redwoods, and it was 4 days, and you couldn't bring anything with you. Like, it had to be basically about meditation. You had your sleeping bag, but basically nothing else. And while I was there, I wrote a list of things that I was grateful for, because it was a challenging experience to go without a lot of things that I was used to having. And when you're saying, like, what more do you need? Like, why do you have all this stuff? I just think it, like, the contrast of how simple this is compared to all the stuff that he has. I had on the list my phone, my bed, lip balm, because my lips were getting chapped, privacy, my friends, internet, school, actually missed school, freedom, 3-ply toilet paper, an eraser and writing utensils, my books, a pillow, paper, Microsoft Word, my parents, my own hygiene products, and clean clothes. Meanwhile, this dude's spending $85 million on a watch.
Just like it's that simple. Like, boom. Hey, guess what? That's your money. Not you particularly, but whoever watches the pay-per-views, whoever went and bought them seats to go see him, whoever flew to Vegas, whoever spent money on hotels and gas and flights, you put the money in his pocket and he's putting it on his wrist and around his neck. If he earned it, I ain't mad at you. But if you taking money out of people's pockets by scamming them, that's something else. $85 million. What? I guess you can travel back in time and see the future for $85 million. You better be able to push some buttons on that shit and go wherever you want. I want a hovercraft. I've seen some stuff that they got out right now. You can literally, you can't, I think you can go as far as maybe 7 to 10 feet in the air. I want one of them. Those ain't no $85 million. Those probably gonna run maybe 300 to 400 or something like that.
I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
man.
If I made
Don't
millions,
you?
I probably wouldn't like. I'd probably buy some nicer things for myself, but I probably wouldn't like. We wouldn't be getting some giant house or anything. I'd probably I'd probably like hire a gardener that could help me like grow my own food and like hire somebody to help me do chores and stuff like that so I don't have to do my own laundry. Like I would basically just buy free time for myself. I wouldn't buy stuff. I mean I would buy stuff, but like I wouldn't be buying $1 million accessories and stuff like that. I would just have like a big collection of chicken purses or something. Like I can't imagine living like that.
Yeah, I'm still hands on. I would have my own gazebo, and then just grow all my fruits and vegetables. Yeah, that would be dope.
My kids would be going to
And you ain't
college.
gotta spend $10. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, hey, maybe y'all can help me out. Maybe you know more about what's going on with Floyd than I do. And if you do, please share your wisdom with me. Help me so I'm not sticking my foot in my mouth. I only gave you what was given to me. And as time rolls out and more comes out, we'll find out who he is, what he's been doing or not doing, and go from there. But the tornado segment, I'm glad I don't live anywhere in those regions. I am. I know there's places where and I don't even know how they've done this, but they built their homes where they are. I can't remember what they call like these devices that are supposed to support the house. They essentially lift them off of the ground and suspend them in the air. They're like beams, but they call them something. I think it's for hurricanes and for tornadoes and stuff like that.
Like putting a house on stilts. Yeah.
Yeah. Y'all bold. I guess you don't know when to give up. I would have been moved. I'm not staying somewhere where that's gonna keep happening. Are you crazy?
My favorite joke.
That's like people living near volcanoes. I never understood that either.
My favorite joke will always be it was Robin Williams. He said he never understands the people that live in Florida. They're always on the news after hurricane season, and they're just like, yeah, we had to rebuild last year too. And the reporter's like, what do you mean last year? Well, we just love the view. Have to rebuild every single year, but we just like the location.
You love the view. Okay, you can have it. You have it. Lucas, bro, I appreciate you for pulling up, bro. Enjoy the rest of your night. That's what I was saying too, Oscar. That's exactly That's what I was saying too. That really have good heart and they be trying to work with you and support, and then it's like they'll take advantage of a person that's just looking out for you. But it's like I don't put nothing past celebrities at all. Celebrities, athletes, none of them. So it's either it's just like you said. It's just like you said. I'm still going to be following the story because I want to know. Let me see. Let me read this last one that I had up here real quick.
It looks like the bankruptcy has something to do with that property.
I just wanted to make sure.
Jesus Christ.
Did I miss what? Did I miss something?
Oh, I just said, I think it looks like the bankruptcy is attached to that housing unit that he purchased. He spent $402 million on the $62 apartment building, and apparently it like wasn't worth that much or something like that. So that's apparently what that's related to, the scam.
Okay. So it is that. Well, yeah. I rebuke you right now. Been messing with me this whole stream, but nah, we got through it. Shout out to everybody who pulled up in the building tonight. I appreciate it. There's a lot of lessons to be learned with where you put your money and who you trust it to. And I think that's pretty much that. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night. I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place. The open mic will happen on Friday, so tune in. Make sure you got your popcorn and all that. I'm looking forward to it. I will see you guys tomorrow, Lord willing. And good night, Miss Denali. You sleep well. Try to get you some rest. All right.
She's talking now. She's saying bye.
Y'all be easy. I will. All right. Y'all take it easy. All right.
See you Friday.
All right.